Hello everyone, today we're talking about leveling up and skills in Meteor Tales, so buckle up! Hello and welcome to another video of Meteor Tales. Now, let's talk a bit about skills in games and how they work in Meteor Tales. So, there was always this debate in games. There was always two types of role-playing games out there. We had classes in most games, like the warrior and the rogue and the wizard, and we had the skills. In my experience, these two elements always kinda contradict each other, because classes are just collections of skills exclusive to the class. Where a skill-based system is a bit of, you can mix them up, you can do whatever you want. You can customize your character the way you want. I like both aspects of the game, to be honest, for different reasons. Classes give you this atmosphere that, you're someone in particular with a unique atmosphere and ethos, like the paladin. The problem with classes is that some classes had a rich background and theme, and some classes were generic, like the warrior could be anything from a gladiator to a pirate, while the paladin was a very specific thing. Anyways, I digress. So in Meteor Tales I went with the skill-based system approach, but providing some archetypes to help make it easier for new players, mostly. So archetypes are just collections of skills, templates to use. So if we skip the archetypes that we discussed the other day, we can move on to how the leveling system works and how skills work. So this is a different system than anything you've seen in other games probably, and I will try to explain it as best as possible. So, first things first, we've got experience points. You start at level 0 and you gain a level for every 200 experience points you raise. And there's no limit to your level. The Book of Heroes goes up to 20, you can go as high as you want. So, there are different groups of skills, okay? And there are different ways to develop these skills. When you start your character, you start with 5 skills. So you choose from a vast pool 5 different skills. We're gonna go over these categories and what they do. So we've got combat styles. So the first thing you should pick is a combat style, because it's a very vague skill that allows you to fight effectively. So a combat style could be light melee weapons, archery, spellcasting. So you choose how you want to fight. The moment you choose a skill, you have it. It doesn't progress anymore, and you can use it effectively by using all the dice. If you don't know how the dice are used, go back to how combat works and the concept of grit and dice. So combat styles is one category. Another category is warfare. So if you choose a weapon style, a combat style, sorry, you unlock the warfare skills. Now warfare is a collection of maneuvers, okay, that you can choose. You unlock them one at a time. You start with the first and you progress. You cannot pick them randomly. But you can choose the first one of every warfare subcategory. So we have offense, defense, range, mobility, technique, and stealth. These are all just different maneuvers with very slight variations. And it depends how you want to develop your character in terms of fighting style. Do you want him to focus on offense or defense or range, stuff like that. So if you want a more like a ninja type of fighter, you can go for stealth and technique. If you want an archer, you can go for range or mobility. If you want a heavy knight, you can go for offense or defense. Or you can mix them up to create your own style. So combat styles, you choose your style, and then warfare, okay? If you choose spellcasting in combat styles, you unlock the magic domains, hence the arrows in the screen here, okay? So if you unlock the magic domains, you can choose among the various schools of magic, like fire, wind, thunder, ice, core, nature, death, blood, theurgy, time, and the shapes and the insignia. So you get spells from various schools, okay? You get the first one if you choose a skill point to assign here, and then when you level up you can take the second one if you have if you spend a point, and so on and so forth. Keep in mind that you must have spell books as well, because spells come in spell books. So you have to physically possess a spell book, let's say the spell book of fire, to get all the fire spells. Now, when unlocking spells, you have to also unlock shapes, because you combine spells, the effects, with the shapes. It's a modular system. We're going to talk about the magic system in detail in another video, but you combine spells and effects. You can get the fire spell and the bolt shape, and you have a fire bolt, or a fire spell and the chain shape, you have a fire chain. So if you've got walls, waves, rings, and you can combine them with spells like fire, light, heat, fire protection, fog, and then if you move to wind, like wind, gust, flight, muffle, slow fall, all these spells can be combined with shapes. So you got a lot of different variations. So this right page that I just explained is what we call the combat skills. I left out insignia. I'm gonna include it in another video. Insignia is for those spellcasters that wish to become masters in specific schools. So if you unlock insignia, you can insert them in various spells or spell books and get bonus effects to that particular spell book only, or spell only, like double range, double damage, stuff like that. So you specialize a lot. Moving on the left page we've got the more general skills, adventuring and crafts, and the advanced ones. So we've got adventuring domains, and the subcategories are survival, lore, and utility. So this is a collection of classic skills you'll see in RPGs, okay, like climbing, swimming, and you can of course benefit from them, and you need most of them to survive while exploring. Now, what these skills will give you is access to a traveling system, actually, with more safety, to avoid encounters, to prepare, to rest properly, to camp, stuff like that. But it also will give you access to skills that will help you while exploring cities, like, for example, a lore skill called culture will give you knowledge of the customs and the laws of a nation, so you know where to avoid spellcasting, for example. So you can choose the skills to your liking, okay? And then we've got craft skills, and we've got blacksmithing, artisanry, and medicine. You know what they do. I mean, blacksmithing is crafting weapons and ammo. Artisanry is crafting items, braces, rings, amulets, stuff like that. And medicine is healing, because we don't have healing spells. So a medic is a practical surgeon, not a healer in a magic way. So these are all the skills, and if you combine some of them, you got the advanced domains. So advanced domains such as alchemy and bardic combat and battle dancing and druidism and ESP, all these weird and advanced skills are only unlocked if you have the prerequisites, the requirements met. For example, if you want to unlock alchemy, as you can see here, you have to have spellcasting, 3 levels in medicine, and a monster skill, and then you get alchemy. If you want to unlock bardic combat, you must have spellcasting, music, culture, and persuasion. So, if you unlock one of these skills, then you can study books and spend time to develop them. Each one of the advanced domains has 10 levels, 10 different skills in there. So you get a lot of stuff. And some skills like druidism, and ESP, necromancy, and oniromancy, and shamanism will give you spellcasting approaches with indirect combat. I mean, you won't have to fight with these skills, but you can use them outside of combat to achieve your purpose. Necromancy will help you raise undead minions, even resurrect targets, or also cast curses on targets if you have organic components that will take days to work. So you can be that kind of a wizard if you want. You don't have to combine spells and shapes to cast fireballs and stuff. That is a combat wizard. You can be another type of more pagan wizard. So these are the skills now, okay? Now we're gonna talk about how you develop them and how level up occurs. So, as we said before, when you level up, you get 1 skill point. You can spend this skill point in any of the combat skills here. Okay? So leveling up only gives you access to these skills, not these. Not the skills on the left side. You have a guideline here. Combat styles, warfare, and magic domains can only improve with level ups. As we talked about in other videos, I'm going to talk about it as well here, each character has 3 effective hours daily to use. You can use these effective hours while adventuring, usually when resting in camp or in a city. You can use it to practice and gain experience points. This will help you get these faster, the right ones, or you can use these effective hours to study books or practice skills directly and help you get these things here on the left. So each category has a different method. For example, survival and utility skills, so blind fighting, climbing, swimming, etc. is survival, and some utility are acrobatics, dancing, disguise, mechanics, steal, stealth, stuff like that. So these skills here can only be acquired with practice, which means that you can spend, for example, 3 effective hours to study blind fighting. If you feel 10 hours, you get the skill, and that's it, you have it. So 3 hours daily, you spend 3-4 days, you get the skill. So with practice, you can get any of these skills. So in between levels, you practice. For example, you set up camp, you light a fire to rest, and you say, okay, I spent 3 hours to practice food gathering, herbalism, okay, or acrobatics. And you write down on your character sheet 3 hours out of 10. And you start to develop it, okay? Now, lore skills, which are like theoretical, more academic skills, can only be acquired with research, which means that when you go to cities, you can buy a book or go to a library and pay a small fee and study there, okay? So, skills like history, languages, monsters, items, which means actually theoretical knowledge over these domains, okay, will give you access to these skills. You can do that through books. You get a book, you study for 3 hours, for example, you've got 7 more to go, and then you get that skill. So you can buy the book and you can carry it with you while traveling and study nightly, okay, or during the day, anywhere. And the good thing is that you can study a book anywhere. And then we have crafts. In order to learn crafts, the first level of each one of them, you have to be tutored by someone experienced. So you find the tutor in the city, okay, and you start your tutorship. You pay a small amount and you spend 3 hours daily until you fill 10 hours, and when that happens you've got the first skill. After that you can practice on your own. You go back to the previous method, but you need the first skill from tutors because it's a craft, okay? So for example, in medicine you get first aid, and then you can proceed with common healing on your own and advance all the way to supreme infusing, because practice makes perfect. Lastly, advanced domains are unlocked by combining other skills, as I said, and you need books to study them. So because advanced domains means that you already have the basic knowledge, the foundations, and you can proceed on your own with a proper guide. So you buy a book. These are usually expensive because they are very powerful, and you can study them at your own pace. And this is how the skill system works in general. So I know it can be a lot at first, but once you get used to it, it's very easy. It becomes very natural because characters, they choose how to progress. They branch out the way they want. They mix and match the skills they want. Other characters become focused on one particular domain. Others, focus on multiple domains. It's up to you. You've got very rich characters this way. And you can, if you don't like a domain, you can stop it, pick up another book or another skill and practice it. So there's no limit. Also, it gives you a very nice chance to role play your choices, because when you set up camp and the characters gather around the fire, which is a very overlooked feature of a game, it's very atmospheric, very immersive to have characters around fires, then talk with each other, talk about their quest, talk about their lives, what troubles them, about their pasts. You have to use these hooks to develop your character. If you have the skills, you can practice, you can practice with other characters, and you can talk to each other about this and develop bonds with each other. So, lastly, in this video, I'm going to talk about a bit practicing and studying. So, as you understood, you can either practice, okay, or study. Now, if you focus on skills, either by reading books or practicing them, or having people teach you, it is a skill-focused approach, okay? If you go for the experience, you can just spend your effective hours to practice at your to practice at your sword or magic or something like that. It's called general practice. So you just roll 1d10 for every hour, and you get that amount of experience points. You roll a 7, you get 7 experience points. You roll a 10, you get 10 experience points. If you're a human, you get a bonus to that because of your legacy. So that is the experience focus approach. They're all outlined here in a spread. You can see about them, okay? So you've got the skill focused method and the experience points, method. So yes, you either practice for experience and you roll dice, or you practice with skills and you get skills, and that's it. That's the whole development system of Meteor Tales. As you get levels, you get not only skill points, but you also get some other bonuses, like bonus grit, a few times though, and a couple of feats and a bonus action at some point, and also some character arcs that help you with your role playing. More of that in another video. So that is how it works. Let me know if you have questions. I know it can be a lot to process, but believe me, it's simpler than it looks. So you have to wrap your head around effective hours, okay, and how they work and how you can use them to enhance your game. Keep in mind that starting characters can choose from all the skills. So level 0 character does not have to go through that process. That is only for development. If you are a level 0 character, you can choose across all domains. There are guidelines here, upper left. So that's it for now. Please remember that I do have a Kickstarter still running with the system. You can support it if you want. It's going well. I hope it gets better, because the better it goes, the more stuff I can release, and I've got a lot of stuff in my mind I would like to share with you, and Kickstarter helps me do that effectively. So I will see you next time, and let me know your comments if you have any questions. Goodbye.